We're having a wee sit down one-to-one today. Get yourself a wee drink of water or a wee cup of coffee and get yourself ready for a nice chilled morning of upper body flexibility only. Right, I'm sitting down, it's no coincidence. I want you to sit down, I want you to get a good chair, something that you can grab a hold of underneath. Okay, now if you don't have the means to do so, don't worry, you can grab something heavy like a kettlebell, which I'm sure you've all got. Something to basically anchor this hand. So I'm just using a seat because a lot of people will be, you know, sitting in the living room, dining room, whatever you are. All I want you to do is get your arm, put it underneath, get a good anchor point on your chair. I mean, it can be to the side as well, okay, so it doesn't have to be in front, just as long as you've got an anchor point. I want you to sit up nice and tall, nice and proud. This will be a familiar one. Again, you can use a kettlebell. Sit up tall, sit up proud, and I just want you to slowly move the neck over laterally. Okay, so all I'm trying to do is get my ear to try and touch my shoulder. Okay, now the first part of this is literally just using the strength in your neck muscles to do so, but try and stay in a relaxed state. The reason I'm using an anchor point is so that I'm not bringing all this with me. Okay, so if I just go like this without that anchor point, I'm not going to get the same stretch. Now an anchor point's better because you can really lean against it and really go for it. Okay, now a kettlebell will work just fine or something heavy, but then you've got to kind of worry a bit more about grip strength and that arm getting tired. So I've got my anchor point. Now I want you to just get a little bit of extra tension on there. So put your hand just on top of your head and remember, I'm going that way, okay, and I should be feeling that across the upper trapezius here. Okay, I'm going to feel it in there. So we're working on the neck. I didn't even do an introduction this morning. Mobility number, whatever it is, 60. I think it's 60, wow. Okay, that says it's 60 now. 60 hours of your life, potentially, invested in me, hopefully. Hopefully it's an investment. So you're going to the side. I promised I wouldn't talk piffle the whole way through this, so I'm going to just stop myself there. I'm only kidding. Then that would be me not being me, so I'm going to talk piffle. Be true to myself. Right, so the idea of this is I'm putting more and more tension on here, so hopefully you're feeling that and you're increasing it. Remember the relaxed state we're trying to stay on here, okay? So we don't want to start shaking and hurting ourselves. Just slowly introducing more and more. Feeling that good stretch. I'm trying not to bring my whole body with it. Okay. So go for it now. Don't be shy. Go as far as you're able to without hurting yourself, and that's why we just slowly increase and increase and increase. Stay relaxed. Nothing's tense, nothing's fighting it. Good. And we're going to slowly ease out of that, just like any other. Do it slowly. Okay. Go the other way, and then I'm just going to slide to the other side of my bench and use that edge as the other anchor point. Again, you can just put your hand underneath, whatever you can use, whatever you can find. Anchor it, and you can do it standing up as well. But I'm trying to stay nice and relaxed. Either way, stood up or sat down, get that chest nice and proud and correct your posture. Okay, if you're just sitting like this, slumped, no. Remember, we're always trying to do our mobility and flexibility work the way we want our body to move. So I've got my anchor point, I've done my farting about. Now I'm just going to go the other way. And again, I'm going laterally. I'm trying to get that ear down onto the shoulder, keeping the shoulder girdle nice and relaxed. And just focus on your breathing. Once you feel you've got a decent amount of stretch on there and you want to take it a wee bit further, just get the weight of the hand, put it on top, just add a little bit. Okay, so we're only just persuading it gently if you like. I don't want to put a whole load of pressure on there straight away. So even just setting my hand on there, the weight of that, and then just slowly start increasing it more and more. And again, try to stay up tall and proud as opposed to starting to slump forward. This arm, anchor point, feeling that stretch, running down, right down the side of my neck, into my upper trapezius, down into the shoulder. No chance of relaxing about here anyway, is there? No point trying to turn this into some relaxation session. With all the noises I'm hearing. Good. Good. Stop farting about on live there. I'll start using your name. Okay. Keep that arm on there. Keep pulling. You know who you are. You in the dining room table. Chair, should I say. Not the table. Good. Which is everybody, to be fair. As I look at everybody's screens now, that's everybody. person with the orange foam roller sitting next to their dining table, room chair. Right, relax there. Are we feeling that? Yes, you are. Good. So what we're going to do, we're going to do the same stretch, but this time, rather than go to the side, I'm going to go that way, if that makes sense. So when I start tucking that way, you're going to start feeling it sweeping down here, okay? So a lot of people get tight in around this area. So that's the area we're going to address as opposed to just the upper trapezius now. So we're spending a wee bit of time on the neck. So don't worry too much about angle. It'll be pretty obvious the way you're meant to go because you'll feel it. So what I want you to do, if you're on a bench like mine, you can grab the bench behind you. If you don't worry about it. I just want you to put your hand behind your back, up nice and tall, and same again. So it's looking like that, except the angle's different now, isn't it? So I'm not going laterally, I'm going more over that way. And you'll feel that sweeping down from the back, base of your skull, running down into the back of the shoulder blade. And again, it just depends how tight things are for you. But all I'm going to do again is get the initial stretch on. I'm going to get my hand and just gently persuade it a wee bit more. So this time it's almost like my chin's trying to tuck in, almost. But remember, I'm going that way. I'm going that way with it. So you should feel that slightly differently and play around with it. If you're feeling particularly tight in a certain angle, exploit that angle. Don't just go the way I'm telling you. Because remember, all this stuff's just to suit me. Suit my own personal aches and niggles. No, in all seriousness, no. You'll probably find a good bit of tension and tightness up there. So we're just going to spend the time on it. And it's flexibility only this morning, so no foam rolling at all. It's just all simple stretches. And with our stretches, remember, we start at a point and we're continually trying to take it further and further and further, but remain in that relaxed state. Good, and relax there if you're ready. Don't just rush into the other side. Slowly move your neck around, just let the blood flow back in. Get a bit of normality back to it, and then boom, let's change sides. So arm up the back, or pin it onto something if you're able to, and it's about feel. Okay, it's not just a case of this way is better. You might find if you position your arm or anchor your arm a certain way, you enhance the stretch more, and that's what we're after. So I'm sitting up tall, I'm sitting up proud now, I'm going the other way. Again, for most people, just off at 45 degrees. Feeling that stretch. Again, tilt your neck slightly, tilt your head slightly. Try and just explore it a wee bit and see if there's a certain angle that you feel more tightness on, and if you do, that's the one you want to be attacking. Okay, you're looking for the worst. And then just slowly introduce a bit more with that arm. Pulling it slightly, but staying relaxed. So our necks are getting abused and used daily. Okay, it's got to support our head. Our head weighs a fair whack. Again, just like every other part of your body, you're not quite aware of it because you drag it around all day long and you're used to it. But your head weighs a good deal. It varies. Person to person, it varies how heavy that head may be. But when we're starting to exercise, if you think about it, when we're doing things like burpees, big explosive movements, where we're jumping to and from positions, putting a lot of strain on the neck, and again, bad posture, form, etc., where people are throwing their heads back, they're adding to that all the more. And just relax there. Good. Right, okay, if you've got a bench or chair, move it out the way, move it out your workspace. And now, we're just going to blend it straight in. So we're going to go for the chest-shoulder area. Okay, I say chest-shoulder area. See in here, we'll get a lot of tightness. So what we're going for here is, we're starting off with the neck, working our way down, but feeding into each one. So if you get a lot of neck pain or your neck feels sore all the time, a lot of the time it can feed off it tight, but it all works together. You know, if that's all jammed up tight, you'll find that you'll probably have a bit of tightness in the chest, a bit of tightness in the back, a bit of tightness in the shoulder. So it can all kind of wreak havoc with each other. So we're going to move down into the chest, but it will feel more deep in there. That's the kind of feel we're going for. So for those of you who struggle to do the likes of this crab position, okay, because you feel a lot of tightness, or the classic one where we're doing those glute bridges when you come up, you can't lock out because it's just too tight here, this is the one for you. So arms, I'm going to put them behind my back and I'm going to interlock the fingers. So I'm interlocking the fingers and my palms are facing away from each other. Happy days. Now I want you just to simply drop to the elbow, drop to the other elbow, and position your feet up. Try and find a kind of comfortable position for your body, okay? And then all I want you to do is just push up, and depending on how inflexible you are or how flexible you are will depend on how much you feel this, okay? So what I'm trying to do is push up through my chest, okay? And I'm going to feel that. You should feel that straight away on the area that I showed you. You're going to feel it anywhere from the shoulder sweeping across the chest. We're trying to keep the chest up proud and pronounced. And then to enhance this one, you just simply shift the bum further away from you, but you do it in millimeters, okay? Don't take a big shift to the butt. So if you watch me now, I've just slid the butt a wee bit more, but I've kept my elbows exactly where they are. So that's enhanced the stretch. You'll only get so far with this one, and if you look now, because I'm showing you from the side for a reason, you'll only get so far before that starts to happen. See how now my chest's collapsed and my shoulders are starting to round? That's us now going the wrong way, okay? That's us taking it off. So I want to make sure I can keep that chest tall, keep that chest proud. Shoulder blades, think about your shoulder blades. Pull them together, squeeze them together. So this is definitely not one I would say is relaxed, okay? It's relaxed as in my chest and shoulders are relaxed, but my arms are pushing into the ground, so therefore, you know, I wouldn't like to sit and hold this all day long. So I'm pushing through. Once I feel it starting to ease a wee bit, again, if you're not sure, watch in, shift the butt just hoot a millimetre, but I'm still able to maintain that proud chest. If you shift the butt and you start to feel the chest drop and you can't get it back up, you've gone too far. And again, that's all that's happening there is you're starting to give in to the tightness. And if you've started to round those shoulder blades, round those shoulder joints, should I say, that's not so good. So person to person, this might feel quite nice, or other people might find it awful, okay? So what we're trying to watch and not do is put negative strain on the shoulder, so don't take it too far, okay? You should feel that stretch in at the shoulder joint, but we shouldn't be getting pain. And the thing is with this one, you could potentially get pain if you're going too far. So it's a common area, got a lot of tightness in there, in at that shoulder joint. Okay, last few seconds. Really go for it, really push that chest up, really push those elbows back. And relax there. Good. So which leads us on nicely to the actual chest stretch itself. So we're going to be getting in these pecs, okay? So in there, we're maybe getting more in at the attachment point, in at the shoulder. This stretch now, you should be feeling more across the pecs themselves. So the best way to do it is on the ground, because we can roll against it and we can use gravity. You can do it, and we have done it standing up, but body weight wise, if you get your body weight up onto this and you've got gravity on your side, you're going to get a lot more from it. So how we do it, I'm lying, arm out, 90 degrees. The whole time, think about it. I'm always harping onto you. Keep your shoulder blade pulled in. Keep your shoulder blades in the position we want them to be in. Okay, so if you've got that shoulder rolled over, okay, and you just go into it, that's us then not mobilising ourselves the way we want our body to move. So I'm nice and tall, nice and proud, shoulder blade pulled together, and then all I'm doing is rolling towards this hand, but make sure you keep that hand firmly on the ground flat. So I'm rolling, and as I roll, I'm feeling that chest reflex kick in, the stretch reflex kick in across my chest. It starts to stretch out, okay? But I make sure I'm keeping that shoulder blade pulled in, and I'm keeping my chest nice and proud, okay? So I'm not arching, I'm not starting to slump. I'm always nice and tall, nice and pronounced, okay? And then all you're doing, if you see the position I'm in, you don't have to if you're in it already, you just move yourself into whatever position you're able to enhance this stretch. So you kind of start moving your legs around in a weird place. Okay, a bit like a crushed spider. So chest tall, chest proud, shoulder blade pulled together, And now you won't just feel this one on your chest. You'll feel it in the shoulder. You might feel it sweeping down the biceps into the forearms, okay? Because we've got that hand. If you've got that hand pinned on the ground, flat, you're going to be feeling it probably to some degree down the arm, which is normal, which is fine. But person to person, it just depends where you're tightest and where you'll feel it the most. So there's no right or wrong in terms of I'm holding that stretch with the arm in the chest. It's fixed in position. But my legs, I'm just going to move them round and try and use my legs as a bit of weight to roll my body away from that arm still. Don't take it too far. You'll know you've gone too far because just like the previous stretch, you're going to start rounding those shoulders. We'd never want to round the shoulders because that's us giving into the tightness then. So defeating the purpose. I'm just trying to relax as best I can. Last few seconds. So take it as far as you can. Be sensible with it. Good. And relax there. Now you can. Shake the arm out. Okay. Shake the arm out. Pump the arm a bit. Get the blood flowing back into it. And then we're just going to change sides. Simple as that. No point farting about with this one. So out to the side, 90 degrees. Pin the fingertips. Pin the whole palm of the hand flat on the ground. Think about it before you roll it. Is my shoulder blade pulled together? Is my chest nice and proud? Yep. Okay, so then I'm going to start rolling. And as I roll, I'm going to maintain that nice proud chest. I'm going to keep my shoulder blade pulled in. Okay, so it's nice and flush against my rib cage. So that when I do roll over and I'm facing the other way, I've not rounded the shoulder to get round there. And I'm feeling a nice stretch across the chest, shoulder, going into the bicep, down into the forearm. Finding that relaxed state. Trying to keep my chest proud. And then whatever you need to do with your legs, you do it. Okay, so all I'm doing, I've got myself kind of twisted round, trying to let my legs fall over the opposite way as well, to add a bit of weight to the stretch. But certainly not doing any damage or hurting myself. Being proactive with the stretch. Always be proactive. Could I be doing this better? What happens if I put this here? Move that there. Okay, don't just settle for it. If your stretch doesn't feel so good or you're not quite feeling it, fix it. Okay, don't commit to a bad stretch. Don't commit to a bad movement. And you're trying to take it further and further and further. Last few seconds, far as you can. Good. Right, relax there. Now, get up on your feet, let the blood flow, and if you need a mat, grab your mat because we're going to get stuck into the back now. So again, it's all feeding off and leading off from one into the other pretty nicely with this upper body. Okay, so if you were feeling pretty stiff up top, neck sore, creaky, aching, okay, hopefully each stretch that we do, you're starting to feel things just unlock a little bit, especially if you've been doing a lot of pressing, a lot of press ups and stuff like that. So anyway, we're going to get into the back here. Okay, we're back. That's where we're back we can grab. Okay, remember it goes round the back, but you're probably going to feel it predominantly around here, more in probably about there is where most people are starting to get the tightness in it, those lats. And again, if that's tight, okay, so if you grab a hold of that and squeeze it, then try to lift your arm up straight, you feel that catching, you feel that jamming, you feel how you can't do it because you've grabbed it. That's basically what's happening. If our shoulders, if those muscles are tight, they're limited in movement, you can't straighten the arms out. So we compensate. We compensate by either going out to the front, or we compensate by shrugging and looking like this and putting all that horrible stress on my shoulders and all the corresponding muscles. So to attack that, all I'm doing is I'm walking out with the hands, okay, and we're going for simple today, okay, we're not doing that whole, because we're doing multiple stretches for the same area. All I want you to do is walk the hands out as far away from your body as you can. Put your head between your arms, and I just want you to simply push out through them. So I'm going to show you from the side also, so if you're not quite sure, have a wee look. I'm just walking out, walking out, walking out, walking out. Trying to push my head through like so, okay? So I'm going down, trying to stretch and lengthen out. Push your hands away from you. Get those arms nice and straight. And you'll feel it. If you're able to look in, look in. If not, don't bother. But this is the area in which we're going to be feeling it. Running down this, what feels like the sides, but is in actual fact, those big back muscles we're starting to target. Okay, so we're trying to remember. We're trying to mobilise our body the way we want, the way we want to move it. So my arms, I want them straight. I'm trying to teach my body, okay, that overhead press position. So I want my fingertips straight. I want my elbows locked out. I'm pushing through, and I'm dressing that tightness. With this position, it's not necessarily a comfortable one. I'm trying to relax. I'm trying to let gravity pull me down. Beginners, you'll be finding it a lot harder. You'll be much higher up. People with decent mobility, you'll find that your nose isn't too far off the ground, but you're still able to get a good stretch. I want you to think about the lower back and make sure that that lower back isn't going into that horrible overextension. Okay, it will be to some degree, but I don't want to feel like I'm putting bad strain on my lower back here, because that's an area we don't want to be hurting. So I'm pushing the hands away, almost as if I'm trying to push my body away from my hands. And you should be feeling that, okay? And you can enhance it by twisting the torso slightly, so you should be able to manage slight twists of the torso, and you'll find that you can really enhance that stretch out. Go for it. If you're feeling this one pretty uncomfortable, all I can say is all the more reason to get it done. Last few seconds, so really go for it. I want you to push those hands away, get those elbows locked out. Good. And slowly come out of that. Okay, shake it out. So that, it can be pretty brutal. Even if you haven't got decent shoulder mobility, you'll probably feel you can get a hell of a lot out of that, but you have to be proactive with it. Same with this next one. Okay, it's very easy to hold a stretch that feels nice, but remember, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to enhance our mobility, okay? So we're trying to force it into a new range. So you're going to need a bench, you're going to need a chair, or you're going to need a sofa or something that you can raise your elbows on. If you're using a sofa, if it's a big soft thing that's going to sink when you put your elbows on, it's probably not the best idea, okay? Now I'm getting straight into this. I want you to make sure your mat is quite far away, because what I want you to do is get your elbows onto the ledge, get your elbows right towards the edge, move the knees back as far as you can, and all I want you to do is get in this position. Very similar to the one we've just done. Okay, but the good thing with this is we can just let gravity do the work for us, so we can relax more with this one. So all I'm doing, and the reason why I've got my arms raised on a chair, is to allow me to get down lower, okay, so that my face isn't hitting the ground. Now with those knees, I want you to move your knees further away to get more weight on your arms, okay, but that has to be done in a controlled manner. We have to be relaxed. High level of discomfort on this one, everybody. So make sure you do it properly and don't give into it, okay? Discomfort's one thing, pain. We don't want pain on these things. But you probably will be feeling a high level of discomfort on this one, especially if you're tight. Now look at the position of my hands. My hands are behind my head. So that way my triceps are lengthened out, and as a result, that's pulling and helping stretch out my lats as well, my latissimus dorsi, those big back muscles. Now, it is uncomfortable, like I say. Focus on your breathing. Just try to relax. We're not holding it for too long. Don't give into it. You're trying not to be in a horrible stress position where you're shaking, because then we're not relaxed. But depending how tight things are, and I'm feeling it today, I won't lie to you, this is nasty. Okay. Oh. But I know it's doing me the world of good. Remember, be proactive with it. Good. If you're ready, ease out of that. And if you've done those 2 stretches to the best of your ability and things were feeling pretty tight, those past 2 stretches, if you stand up, you should feel, just from everything we've done this morning, your neck moving a lot easier. You're able to hold better posture easier, as in your shoulder blades are pulled together, your chest is proud, okay? You're not giving into this, and you're feeling a lot more loose, okay, across that kind of range of movement. So you should feel that you can get your arms above your head just that wee bit easier, okay, without everything feeling all tight. So it doesn't take that long, it doesn't take that much. So stay on top of it. Those are probably what I would say is the most important body weight only versions, if you like. Of course, we can get resistance bands and things involved to help enhance them, but if you are feeling everything's tight around the areas, I would remember everything we've done up till now, and everything going forward now is just a little bit of a bonus, okay? So a lot of people struggle. Bad posture, standing up all day long, sitting down all day long, we end up giving into this, don't we? Exercise tightens it up all the more, causes you to lose form all the more, so stay on top of it, that's my only point. Right, let's get stuck into a wee bit of the thoracic spine now. So I'm going to get on all fours, okay? Getting all fours. Before I get into the thoracic spine, we might as well, we're down in this position, we'll mobilise the spine while we're at it. So I'm on all fours. Some of these you'll be familiar with if you've been following along for a while. If not, I'll talk you through it as if we've never done it before. On all fours, okay? All I want you to do is overextend the back, so this is where it's okay to do so. I'm going back, I'm going back, I'm going back. I'm trying to lift that chest. You get to the point which you feel you can't go any further, and I want you just to try and go that little bit further, okay? With this one, I don't want you to take it to the extreme of you're trying to break your back in half, okay? You want to feel like you're getting a good stretch. You want to feel like you're going that little bit more to encourage it, but we don't want to be hurting ourselves here, so be sensible. So I'm taking it as far as I can, far as I can, far as I can to a point, and then I want you to push through the hands, push the spine up through the upper back. Now, if you can see me, watch, because look, I'm getting this stretch, but my lower back is not involved. I want my lower back to be involved, so you actually have to think about it. So if you look now, what I mean by that is make sure that upper back comes, the lower back comes up with it, because it's very easy just to do this and leave that lower back behind. Bring it up with you, bring it up. Okay, imagine somebody's pulling the centre of your spine out the upper back. It's all coming up, 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 up. And this one I do want you to take it literally as far as you can and then some. Push through the hands, spread the shoulder blades apart, push that spine up, 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 and then release, okay? And then going back into our overextension. So we're going to keep this process going for a few, so make the most of it. And what we're doing here, take it, remember this one, take it to that point, take it a wee bit further, but don't try and break your back in half. So what we're doing here, we're starting to mobilise all the little muscles within the spine, but then also the big muscle groups as well. Okay, so you'll feel you get a lot from this one. Our spine should be able to move freely. Okay, we don't want it doing this when we've got load bearing on us, as if you've got a big bar with weight on your back. You don't want to start doing all this. But it's important that spine is flexible and mobile. But for a lot of us, it's not always the case. It gets jammed up. Right, same position. Now we're going to go for the thoracic spine mobilization. Okay, so what I mean by that is, see this rotation here? That's the responsibility of our thoracic spine. We're kind of upper mid-back area. We should all have good range there, but again, big muscle groups, they all get jammed up tight and we start struggling to get round, okay? So, we'll leave that one out. I was about to say something disgusting, but we won't bother. Right, we're going to get to let you use your imagination. Yep, so if we're going to get myself onto that position here, I'm going to get you to get your fingertips onto the temples. It was toilet humour, just in case your brain's wondering all sorts of things. It was toilet humour, okay? So we've got ourselves, people are thinking, no, what? So all I'm doing here is I want you to rotate down so that that elbow's down at the other elbow, and then I want you to rotate back up. Now when I'm rotating back up, imagine you're trying to keep your belly button facing down, okay? It's going to come with you to some degree, but the point being, I want you to keep your hips exactly where they are. Okay, so I'm rotating from that upper back, I'm pulling this elbow back, pulling the shoulder blade together, And now I'll show you from the side. So if you're able to see and you're not sure what you're doing, watch now. Okay, so I'm rotating. And what I don't want to do at this point where I'm getting restricted is start to lift this up. See how I've now brought all this with me? Okay, I don't want that. I want to keep it isolated to that thoracic spine. If things are tight, you'll get to a point and you'll feel that you physically can't go any further. Even if things aren't tight, you're going to reach a point in which things physically feel they can't go further. And that's what I'd say to you. Pull, 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 squeeze, go further, release. Okay, so I'm just trying to keep that rotation. And each time I go up, I should feel like I'm just getting that a little bit further. And then release. Okay, so we're going, going, going. Trying to keep the belly button facing as down as you can. Pull the shoulder blade back, pull that elbow back. And again, for a lot of us, it might not feel too pleasant. Good. And then shake out. Tell you what, I'm feeling this today, needing this today. So we're going to get ourselves changing arms. Same position, I rotate, I rotate, I rotate from the spine, and then I'm rotating away and up. I get to that point, I feel I can't go further, I pull further. Okay, I pull that elbow back, I pull the shoulder blade together, and then release. So each time I'm going up, I'm just trying to go that wee bit further. And it's not a rush, okay? You get up there, good squeeze, good pause for a good 5 seconds. You're trying to go further and further. And then release. Right, keep going. Keep going. Good. So, further and further. Good. And relax there. Okay, so what we're trying to restore, again, like I say, is that rotation. Pelvis, belly button facing forwards. Okay, you should be able to get round and get back. And yes, there's room for a joke in there, but we'll keep it out. Right, we're going to get into the forearms and then into the biceps a wee bit, okay? So all I'm doing, on my knees, palms. Now this is where I realise some people didn't quite realise how to do this properly, so don't, if you're not quite sure, please pay attention. I'll show you from this position. First, can you see my fingers? You shouldn't. You might see the outer extremes, but you shouldn't see my fingers. So where are my fingers? Fingers are pointing directly back towards my knee, directly back, as in straight back, okay? It's not going to work the same if you're doing it that way. Yep, I realised last time some people weren't quite getting that. So please, get the fingertips pointing towards your knees. And then once you get in this position, it's pretty obvious what way you're going to go to enhance the stretch. Backwards, eh? So I'm going back towards my fingertips. I'm keeping those palms. So just back, back, back. You'll feel a horrible, this will feel pretty disgusting. You'll feel that stretch coming flying up the front of your forearms. Now, it's quite a brutal one. So all I would say is don't go too far too soon, because you'll find that you fight it, okay? You'll find that you don't stay relaxed. So remember, I'm going further and further, but I'm trying to stay in a relaxed state. So if you go too far too soon, you'll find it's just nasty and you're not doing it properly. So fingertips should be pointing directly back. I'm leaning back. And then there's no right or wrong after that in the sense of what position should my body be in. Okay, I'm trying to stay as relaxed as I can, but I can to some degree. Get my knees, if I bring my knees further forward, I can just let myself, the action of me falling back, add a bit of weight to this. So it's quite an easy position, this one. But it's not nice, okay? It's far from chilled out. This is pretty horrible. So if things are feeling pretty tight in there, make the most of this one. And I still think, in my opinion, the worst part of this stretch is when you come out of it, okay? And you start to try and move your wrists again after being in this restricted position. So if your wrists are pretty tight, get it sorted, okay? Because remember, up, down, if our forearms are tight, we're probably going to end up getting pain in the wrist, pain in the elbow. And you see that quite a lot, okay? We don't do too much stretching on our forearms. But for those who exercise, we're gripping a hold of heavy bars all day long, and that restricted not that restricted, and that short range of movement, gripping the bar. Okay, so we inevitably get a lot of tightness. Those who sit in a very restricted position at a desk, trying to type on a computer all day long, okay, we seize up. So it's important to stay on top of this. Right, I'm going to ease out, but as you do so, you'll discover that it's disgusting. It's pretty damn horrible, isn't it? Right, so to get back out of that, just rotate the wrist slowly, open and shut the fists, okay? And there we have it. So we're getting there. There's not a lot to do with upper body, we're nearly there. But it's flexibility work this morning so that we can actually get through everything, because it's been a wee while since we've done it. So shake, 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 shake. Good. Now, all that's left for upper body is the brain fart. Triceps. Triceps, okay? So we're going to get into the triceps. Now, triceps, remember, this is the area that we're working on, the back of the arms, okay, all those press-ups, etc. It's going to be tight to some degree. I don't want to lean too much to the point where I'm starting to bring this into, okay, we've already stretched that out, so keep the feeling on here as much as we can. Now, all I'm going to do, I'm going to use my wall, so I'm going to have to go away from you, but all I'm doing here, arm up, straight, shoulder pulled down, arm behind the back, so it looks like this. We know this one, this is a classic, this is what we call a classic stretch. This is like one of the ones you get taught at PE at school that, you know, folk kind of, I'm just about to go a run, so I'll do a bit of this, okay? Yeah, it makes complete no sense at all. So arm behind the back, I'm getting confused looks on live, what's going on? You've done this one 100 times. Down the back, get the arm on top and pull down. Now again, I'm going to go to the wall because instead of using this arm to pull down, which is in theory a stress position, I can be lazy with it. But I don't call it lazy, I call it being proactive. I can lean into the wall. So you can see I'm leaning into the wall. I'm not stood against the wall because then I've got no range. I've got no further range. So if I just move out from the wall a wee bit, try to keep that elbow nice and tall. And remember, I'm trying to keep the stretch in my triceps as best I can. You will feel it to some degree in the lats and the back muscles, okay? But it just depends how tight things are. If your back muscles are that tight, you might only feel it in the back muscles. If you're not quite feeling it in the triceps, just make sure that that hand that's down the back is down the back as far as it can go, okay, to help lengthen out those triceps. Play around with the angle, so if you're not quite feeling it in the triceps, play around with the angle, because it is a tricep stretch. But like I say, if your back muscles are that tight, it's like when we do the hip flexor. If your quads are that tight, you probably don't even get a chance to feel the hip flexor stretch because you're too busy stretching out the quads because they're so tight. So play around with the angle, try to get as much weight on that elbow as you can. Hand down the back. Good. And we're going to relax there, everybody. Shake it out, change sides. Change sides, it's exactly the same. So I'm going to have my back to you this time because I've only got a wall on this side. Arm up, okay, and I'm using the wall. So before you commit to the stretch, play around with the position of your elbow and the angle of your body so that you can feel like, right, okay, not quite feeling it that way. If I just roll forward a wee bit, okay, I'm feeling it more that way, so now I'm going to put the weight into it. It's just trying to keep it relaxed, trying to do what you can to get that stretch on the triceps as opposed to the back. Do what you can. And that pretty much concludes upper body flexibility while we're holding this one. So key points with upper body, where we're most tight, tends to be the chest, shoulders and back, okay? All of which feed off of each other. So most of the time, if people struggle to get their arms up over their heads straight, that's the three areas we work on together. A quick fix, I'll talk to you when I turn, I've not got my back turned to you. Keep holding that stretch for a few more seconds. So a quick fix, if you're struck for time, okay, and you know that your chest, your shoulders and your back is tight, a very quick fix is just to hang off with something, okay? Now you don't need to, oh, I can't hang off anything for more than 5 seconds. You don't need to hang off it with your legs swinging. Relax there. So I don't know, if you go to the park when you're walking your dog or whatever, or if you just hang about in a swing park like a weirdo, You know, the monkey bars, just get on them and just relax and let them pull you out. Again, you can do it with your feet on the ground. Trying to take as much weight off your feet as you can. Okay, there's no point you just jumping up and hanging there for 2 seconds and losing grip, is my point. Okay, you can do it on anything, anywhere you can hang. Okay, you're gonna get a lot from that. Okay, so we can do each individual one. Yep, it's superior to some degree, but if you're struck for time, hanging off of something's gonna target pretty much the full upper body at once. So if you are struggling, that's a good way to get into it quickly. Anyway, we're done. Hopefully you enjoyed that upper body flexibility only. It's allowing us to get everything done flexibility wise, as opposed to trying to do everything and not getting anywhere near it done. Thursday, as in the next one, will be runner focused. So we're going through different target mobility, focusing on different areas, etc. It'll be runner focused. There's nothing in there that we won't have done before. Okay, hopefully by now you're starting to realise that it's always the same kind of areas. But by focusing on a runners only one, it'll be the areas that are more prone to injury for runners, aches and pains, the main muscle groups that are getting used and abused when people go out running. So whether you run or not, it doesn't matter. You're still going to be getting stuck into the likes of the ankles, the glutes, the hip flexors, the hamstrings. You get the point, okay? So you don't need to be a runner to get the benefit. Have a good day, and thank you very much.